Thank you. Good afternoon, Coach Jeremy Nicolas Rivera, Radio Caravana. This is a new final after the match against Jamaica. How is the team doing emotionally, considering that there was an important victory this week, and now how are you analyzing Mexico? And Jeremy, you've been a starter in the last teams. How are you undertaking this responsibility that you are being given slowly and gradually, but you're adapting match after match? Thank you. The team is doing well, confident. We are recovering from the previous match, getting ready for the next. We know it's a final. We knew this could be a possible scenario. Arriving at the last match, compelled to getting a victory, and the victory against Jamaica gave us this obligation to be playing a final tomorrow. So we are preparing the best as we can. It's difficult to train, to practice, given the weather conditions, the heat, but I believe the players are doing well. They are confident, waiting for tomorrow, and we'll do our best. Hi, I'm thankful for the opportunities that I'm receiving. I'm thankful to the coach. We are very united. They all give me that confidence. So I feel better every time I play with the national team. I feel I'm an important player, and that's what I want to do, give my best so we can meet our goals. Coach Marco Lopez from Radio Idu. In terms of percentages, what do you consider is the percentage vis-a-vis what you want? It's time maybe for a self criticism or reflection. And Jeremy, do you feel well playing with a line of 4? How do you accommodate to a line of 5 that maybe you will have? Thank you. Well, our assessment is that we are always self critiques of ourselves, and we want to make the most. We are doing our best in terms of percentages. I couldn't really give you one with sufficient grounds. We've had good results. We can improve certain results regardless of the results. There are things to improve, and that's what we are trying to do. We're trying to keep it up, and the players are very much involved in trying to make things better. So I think we are on the right path. Good afternoon, Gabriela Alcider, El Canal del Fútbol. I'm sorry. Well, I don't mind playing with a line of 4, line of 5. I'm young. I have to adapt to these circumstances sometimes. And yes, I like to play on as a winger on the left side, but I'm willing to give my best at any position. Coach Gabriel Alciber, El Canal del Fútbol. In terms of the game analysis throughout the 90 minutes, in the last 2 games, we noted that you made 4 substitutions. Maybe you didn't use the last. Was it for any reason, or why was that? And Jeremy, what is your message to the fans? They are going to the different cities. How do you live that support you receive from the fans? Well, in terms of the substitutions, it depends on each game and the situation. The first and the second games are different situations, of course, because of the sending off. And then as the games happened, we were figuring out our game plan, trying to see if we had to make any substitutions in the last minutes, to have that option, to have some spread, but we have to make this type of decisions. Well, I just want to say thank you to the fans at this important time we're going through as players. We feel very well every game knowing we have that support. Against Jamaica, we felt we were locals, and it's very nice to come to a country which is not Ecuador and feel that they are uh, having our backs there with us, and we just
Buenas
thank them a
tardes,
lot. Good
Machado Macha
afternoon,
Deportes.
Roberto Machado, Macha Deportes. Thank you,
Manejando
Mr.
las
Sanchez.
alternativas del partido frente a México. Empatando
Considering the
clasificaría.
alternatives against
México
Mexico,
obligatoriamente
with a
necesita una
draw,
victoria.
you qualify.
¿Cómo
Mexico needs
plantearía
a
usted el
victory.
partido? ¿Cómo se imagina el
How would
partido?
you uh,
¿Buscará
set the game
realizar
plan
una
for
marca en el medio
for this
campo,
match? Will
impedir,
you
saldrá a la
have a
ofensiva? ¿Qué se
midfield
imagina del
mark,
partido para el día de mañana? Y
an
ayer vi
offensive
tres
game plan?
partidos en
What
ocho
would
días
be
con temperaturas
the
altas.
idea
Si bien es
for
cierto, dos
tomorrow's
escenarios,
game? And for
huelga condicionada con los entrenamientos en los
Jeremy,
que
with
siempre han
the
estado
weather
40, 42
conditions,
grados, ¿cómo
training
está el
under
equipo en el
40,
aspecto
45
físico? Muchas gracias.
degrees, air conditioning. How is the team doing
Bien,
physically?
los partidos,
Thank
José,
you. Well,
tienes tu planteamiento y luego pues puede
we
salir
always
mejor,
have a
mejor o
game
peor.
plan,
También
and
depende
then
evidentemente
it
del
could
equipo
go
contrario. Sabemos
well, it could go
que el
not as
empate
well. It also
nos daría
depends
la
on the
clasificación a
opponent. We know
nosotros.
that a
Creo que
draw would
sería
give
una
us
mala
the
opción, salvo con una mentalidad
qualifier.
de salir a empatar el
We
partido.
think it wouldn't be a
Evidentemente no
good
nos hemos de volver locos,
call to have a
pero lo
mindset of
que
not winning.
vamos a intentar
We
es
are
intentar hacer un buen partido para
going
sacar un
to
resultado positivo,
strive to have a
intentar
good game so we have a positive
ganar
outcome,
para acabar
and we try to
con buenas
win so we
sensaciones.
can
Evidentemente enfrentamos a un gran
have
equipo,
good
un
feelings
equipo
about it. We are going to face
pues que
a
bueno,
great team,
quizá al igual que nosotros en los detalles, pues no han
a
podido
team
llegar
that,
con más puntos, pero creo que han hecho
like us,
dos grandes
maybe
partidos.
couldn't have
Sabemos
a lot of points, but
están
they've
obligados a
played
conseguir
great
un
games,
resultado
and we
positivo.
know
Eso nos
they
lo va a
are
poner
compelled
aún más
to
difícil, pero creo que el
obtain a
equipo pues,
positive
está preparado
outcome,
para este
and
tipo
that's gonna
de
be
compromisos,
harder for us. But I
que
believe our team
futbolísticamente lo
is
han demostrado.
prepared for
Mañana es
this type
una gran
of
oportunidad de
commitments
enfrentar a
because
una gran
they've
selección e
shown
intentar
that,
sacar un buen resultado
and
que
it's
nos lleve
time
para
to
ir
face
a la
and
siguiente fase.
take on a great team and get our qualifier for the next round. Well, everybody knows that the sun is quite strong, and we also know that it's hard at each training sessions, but that's why we are training every day. This also helps to move forward, and we work hard every day so we improve and we can get to the upcoming matches. Coach Jeremy, hi, Jose Carlos Crespo for DBA Sports. I don't know if you knew about this, but tomorrow it's going to be the 31st anniversary of the semifinals of the Ecuador Copa America, where Mexico beat us 2-0, and also 20 something years when Mexico beat us in another final in Bolivia 97, 2 years after Ecuador lost to Mexico. So, given this information, can you handle the possibility that we can win or defeat an opponent that has historically beat us? Or what do you think about that? And in terms of football aspects, I know each commitment has its context, but the possession was quite pronounced. At first, it was quite big, and then they lost it. So, how can we make that a bit more balanced, and how can this be handled more
Bueno, nos
evenly?
basamos, digamos, muy
Well,
seria a
first of
pesar de esos
all,
datos. Lo tomamos como un reto.
despite those
Sabemos
facts, we
que
are
es un
not
partido
going
exigente. La selección
to
de México siempre ha
flinch.
sido muy
We
potente y
know that it's a
somos muy
demanding
conscientes
game.
de ellos
The Mexican
y
team has
es una
always been
motivación
very
más para hacerlo.
powerful. We are aware of that, but
Y
that's
respecto
another
a lo otro,
motivation.
como has
Thank you
dicho,
for that.
nosotros
piece of information. And in terms of the other question, we are always trying to make an analysis to know that there's always something to improve. Each match is a different situation, a different scenario. We had a sending off in the first match, then we have the US team game where they had a man who was sent off, and the situation changed completely after that. And in terms of the second game, in the second half, we um, were able to move forward. We ended up motivating ourselves, but that has to be helpful so this doesn't happen to us again. But as I always say, there's an opponent, and they also want to change the situation, and they also have their weapons to try to give us a hard time. But despite this, I think the team was able to recover. We didn't come up with good occasions. They were also very powerful, but we could control the game under my perspective. Of course, this can have many interpretations, but we are going to, within our scope, to have more control and not to go through what happened in the second half in the other match. Coach, good afternoon, Maristel Carrillo, Marca 90. I would like to know, in terms of football, there's a European team. Carlo Ancelotti has good football concepts, and he says that his teams know what suffering is like, and that has to do with emotional intelligence, have a cold mind. Do you work with your team in terms of neuroscience? Do you think this is important? Because tomorrow I think it's going to be a game where the emotional side will be very important besides the football aspects. Well, we are talking about one of the best, if not the best, head coach in the world. He has shown that not only with results, but many other things, team management. And I agree that in football you have to know how to suffer, because we would all love to dominate during the 90 minutes, but that's impossible at a professional level, not even for such a powerful team with a head coach like Carlo Ancelotti. We have to know how to suffer, how to face different situations, different plays, and of course, after day, the message is conveyed. The experience is very important. Let us not forget that we are playing with a very young team with a very high level, but in football, as in life, experience is a bonus. So the players are gaining important experiences at a personal, at a professional level in their own clubs, so they can become better players. So that's very important, as you were saying. Coach Maria Jose Flores, as to Ener Valencia, tomorrow we will see him as a starter, as a top scorer. And are you all aware, I'm sure you are, that you can change Ecuador's history at Copa America? How can you handle all that pressure, and also considering the good environment, the companionship that you can feel among yourselves? Well, Ener is our captain. He is a very important player. We don't give our lineups, but you know that he's a very important player. He also had that rest in the second round, so he is fresh, and we know he is a player who can bring goals, experience, and he also conveys a lot of confidence in the field. So we hope that he will be able to help us together with his mates so we can get
Buen
the
día, profesor.
qualifier for
Julio.
the next round. Hello.
Sí, estamos muy conscientes que podemos cambiar
Yes, we
la historia de
are
Ecuador.
all aware that we can
Sabemos
change
día a día
Ecuador's history.
lo que se nos viene.
We
Obviamente,
know what's
nosotros sabemos
coming,
lo que
and
queremos,
day after
tenemos nuestro
day,
objetivo muy
we
claro,
think
así que
about it.
estamos
We
día a
know
día
what
dándole.
our goals are.
Y
That's
sí,
why we work
ya lo
hard
hemos
every
hablado
day.
algunos de los muchachos,
And
nuestro objetivo es llevar la Copa Ecuador,
yes, we
que es lo
were
más importante para
discussing it
nosotros.
with the other players. We want to
Sí,
bring the
queremos
cup
darle
to
esa
Ecuador. That's the
alegría
most
a todo el
important
país
thing
que se
for us.
merece.
And we want to bring
Como les
that
estuve
joy
diciendo,
to the whole
estamos más
nation.
unidos que nunca.
As I was saying, we are
Estamos trabajando
as
por eso.
united as ever, and we are working for
Buen día,
that.
profesor. Jeremy, Julio Pacheco para Se habla de
Hi,
Deportes.
Coach Jeremy
Profesor,
Julio
en
Pacheco.
estos partidos se ha visto esos errores
Coach,
que usted marcaba.
in the last
Se están
games,
corrigiendo.
we've
La
noted
definición
those
en el último
mistakes
tramo,
that you
pues, de
pointed
la
out,
cancha,
that you are
casi que para las
correcting the
situaciones ofensivas
definition
que
in
se
the
vieron
last
el
trench of
partido contra
the
Jamaica y
field,
contra Venezuela.
considering the
Y quiero
risky
saber si usted ha
situations
estado o
against
cómo ha estado
Jamaica and
planificando esto, si ha
Venezuela.
estado mejorando esto
How
en los
have you
entrenamientos.
been
Y para
practicing
Jeremy,
or improving
hablabas de
this
esta
in your
situación de que
trainings?
pues
And
otras
Jeremy, you
carreras se
were
sintieron de locales.
speaking
Ahora aquí
about
en, pues, en Phoenix se
the fact
dan
that you felt
competición
locals in
hinchada
Las
mexicana
Vegas.
muy
In
fuerte. Entonces,
Phoenix, you
¿cómo siente el
will
grupo
have
y tú
quite a
esta situación?
strong Mexican fandom. So, how do you
El fútbol,
feel
como
about
tantos
this?
otros deportes, es un deporte de
Football,
aciertos y
as
errores
many
y
other
evidentemente
sports,
cuantos
is
menos
a
errores y más
sport of
aciertos tengas, más
trial and
probabilidades
errors, and
de poder
the less
ganar.
errors and the more
Y bueno, los
good
errores forman
calls you
parte del
make, you
juego,
have
es
more
normal que se
probabilities
cometan,
of
evidentemente,
winning.
pero
Mistakes are
trabajamos
part of the
día a día para
game. It's
intentar
normal to
minimizar
make
esto
mistakes, and
y bueno,
every
pues
day we
con
work
los
to
jugadores
minimize
pues
them. And
a
with
través
the
de sesiones de
players,
vídeo, los pocos momentos que estamos
through
teniendo
video
estos días
sessions, during the few
en las
moments we
prácticas en el
have
campo, pues
these days,
intentar
and with
corregir, que
the
es lo
practice
lo que hacemos
sessions, we try to correct
todos los equipos del mundo
what
y esperemos que mañana haya
and
más
I guess that's
aciertos
what all
que errores
teams do. And we
para
hope
poder
that
sacar un buen
tomorrow we will
resultado.
have more good calls than mistakes,
Sí,
so we can
nosotros
make
sabemos que mañana el
have a good
estadio va a estar
outcome.
lleno de gente
We know that
mexicana,
tomorrow
pero
the
eso no
stadium
nos va a
will
afectar.
be
Nosotros estamos muy
filled with
centrados en lo que
Mexican
queremos.
fans, but that's not
Entonces,
going to
nada,
affect us. We are
eso
going to be
no va a
very
afectarnos
focused
de
in
ninguna
what we
manera.
want.
También vamos a tener
So that's not
nuestra
gonna
afición
affect
ahí
us at
también.
all. We
Entonces, con pie
will
derecho.
also have our fans there, so
Profesor,
we
¿cómo está?
are
¿Qué tal? Alfredo
happy
Arevalo
to
de
go
Radio
for
Caché.
it.
Profe, yo le quería preguntar por la
Radio
famosa
Cache,
línea
I
de
wanted
cuatro,
to
línea de
ask
tres,
you,
que me gusta
Coach,
mucho
the
para usted. ¿Por qué se
4-3
está tomando
line.
la decisión? ¿Por qué usted está tomando la
Why
decisión
are
de
you
cambiar esa línea de tres que le
deciding
dio tantos resultados al
to
comienzo tan
change
importantes?
that line of
Tomando en
three
cuenta que
that
es
gave you
Piero
good
Hincapié que está
results
jugando
at the
como lateral.
beginning,
Sabemos que es uno de
considering
los mejores
that
centrales del mundo,
Hincapié
probablemente
is
Hincapié
playing
usted ha
as a
tomado la decisión de
winger?
ponerlo
We
como
know he's
lateral
one of
para
the
sacarlo un
best
poco de su zona de confort.
wingers in the
En esa
world,
posición
but you
él
have
sabemos que a veces también
decided
juega en
to
su equipo, pero
place him
probablemente
there.
en
We
otro
also know
contexto,
he
con otro
plays in
acompañamiento
your
delante de
team,
él.
but
¿Por qué se ha
probably
tomado esta
with
decisión
another
de jugar justo con
context.
línea de cuatro y con él
So
como
why
carrilero?
are
Y
you
para
making
Jeremy,
this
vemos que ha
decision
evolucionado mucho
of
Jeremy en la parte
making
individual como
this
futbolista.
position and playing with
Podemos
him
ver
as a
que es
back
mucha
wing?
mejor
And
presión,
Jeremy,
retrocedes mucho
we
más.
know
¿Qué
that you
crees que está
are
faltando para
pressuring a
ser
lot better,
ese
going
referente de
back
la selección
a
ecuatoriana de
lot
fútbol
more? So what's missing so
actualmente
you can be
con la
that
tri?
reference in the Ecuadorian
Bueno,
national team,
como ya he
the three?
comentado varias veces cuando sale el tema,
As I've said quite a
depende de
few
los
times
jugadores que tenemos a
already, it
disposición.
depends on the players we
Hemos
have
tenido varias bajas
available.
en
We've
algunas
had
posiciones de la línea
some
defensiva
uh,
y como
players that
muy bien
have not
dices,
been available in
Piero
the
en su club
defense
también ha
line,
jugado
as
algunas
and as
veces
you well
incluso como
said it,
carrilero jugando
Piero in his team
en
has
línea de tres
also
centrales.
played
Yo
as
creo
a back wing
que
with
Piero es
three
un
center backs.
defensa muy
I
completo.
feel that
Está jugando ahí
he is a
sin
very
más
complete
en línea de cuatro y
player. He's
en banda
playing more
izquierda.
on the line of
Creo que está haciendo una
four.
excelente Copa
On the
América.
left wing, he's
Está jugando de titular
he's having
también.
an excellent performance in the
Creo
Copa
que
America. He's
solo puedo sacar
also
conclusiones positivas y tener la máxima confianza en
getting
Piero,
great
sabiendo
results.
que
I
jugando de
can
central,
only
como muy
come
bien has
up
dicho,
with positive conclusions.
es uno de los
And
mejores del
as you
mundo.
well said it,
También
he's one
tenemos
of the
otros
best
centrales que
in the
también están a
world.
ese nivel, con lo
We
cual
also have
creo que es un
other
privilegio para mí como
center
entrenador pues,
backs
tener jugadores que te puedan
who
dar
are
esa
playing very well. For
variabilidad
me, it's a
y
privilege
que
to
sigan
have
manteniendo
all these
el
players that give you
rendimiento y el
all
nivel
these
que
options
están dando.
and that they can keep up with this performance
Sí,
and this
día
level.
a día, como yo les estoy
Day after day, I'm feeling better. I'm confident. I know that I've also improved a few things. I still have a lot to improve, but I want to contribute a bit more, strike more goals, score. I think that's going to be good for me and for the team at these games. Good afternoon. I'm Ega Rodriguez for ESPN. Coach, the first question is for you. You were saying that in the last game, you felt like the team had control on the game. But after scoring in both games, there was some sort of step backwards, and then the team is not so motivated, and maybe they are positioned more towards the back. Is this a technical decision? Is this a game plan, or why does it happen that after scoring, the team goes a bit backwards? And then, Jeremy, you've already said this. This is a final. You've talked about your position, Matt. How can you damage the Mexican defense, given that there are not so many chances to be effective because they are also going to be going for the win? I think that in both games, we are talking about different situations. First, we were playing with 10 players, and in the physical sense, it's also a bit hard for us because we were very demanded, not at a physical aspect, but also in the forward positions. It's difficult times. We knew that we were compelled to winning. That's the second game. And as I said before, when you think about it, analyze, we want to have more control. Not always is it with the ball possession because maybe they don't let you, but after conceding a goal, those following minutes are very important, and we need to keep working first to try not to concede, of course, but then if these situations occur, we have to try to keep up the same line. It doesn't always happen as we wish. The opponent also has their weapons, and it makes you go back. Under no circumstances will we like to be so close to our goal. But at times, we have to know how to suffer, as we were saying before, and we need to be capable of being well when we have this type of situations coming. I haven't faced Mexico yet, so it's going to be my first time. So I'm going to try to do my best. We will play our game. We are not going to get nervous and look for the draw. We want to win. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to do our best. Hi, Bas and Galada for eSports, and Jeremy, coach. We are arriving the final stage of the first round of Copa America. Some countries are going back home. What is your global analysis of the possible candidates or protagonists that could win the cup or make it to the finals? And Jeremy, to get away from that media pressure or social media pressure, what entertainment do you have in the team? We don't have that approach with the team to know what you're doing. What other things do you do? Do you listen to music? Do you play with a PlayStation? You swim at a swimming pool? What other things do you do? Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry, but anything that is beyond Mexico, we don't look, we don't focus on, because depending on what we do tomorrow, it may not be necessary, and we are only focused on Mexico for now, and we are only concentrating on that. Well, what I can tell you is that it's hard not to be close to your family for a while, but we are getting along. We play cards, we play PlayStation or anything. We go outside, we go to the pool sometimes. But yeah, given the pressure we are getting, we just focus on the game. But when we are among us, we laugh, we joke, we dance, and that's what's the most important thing. Coach and Jeremy, good afternoon from Fambuleros. Coach, you are used to playing very important games. You played the Asian Cup of Nations that you ended up winning. You made your debut with a national team at the World Cup, and you made it to the semifinals in the Gold Cup in 2021. And Mexico was defeated against the USA in Las Vegas. Regardless of the games you've already uh, coached in at the knockouts, is tomorrow's game one of the most important games in your career? Thank you. Since I'm in Ecuador, each game is the most important in my career. So tomorrow's game is the most important in my career, clearly. Good afternoon, coach, and everyone. Joana Calderon, El Mundo Deportivo. Coach, since the game against Italy, Ecuador received goals. How are you working in the defensive side? And if you allow me another question, do you think you've already found your game plan with this formation, or it will depend on the opponent? Thank you. Well, I think that the team was always very strong in the defense. It's hard to have a zero goal line for so many teams, for so many games. But we need to keep working, improving, because we know that details can go against you. We wish we can keep the goals at zero as from tomorrow. And we've been getting ready for the tournament, and we have this formation, this lineup, and we are not going to make big changes for the time being. What I see brings good outcomes. We adapt to the competition, the opponents. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. But I believe that the team is having a good performance like this. Maria Fernanda Alonso, Univision Mexico. What the Mexican press is saying is there's a lot of pressure over our head coach. If they don't win tomorrow, maybe he could be laid off, and the players seem not to be so happy with what you've shown. Do you feel that same pressure if you don't make it to the quarterfinals? Maybe could you say goodbye to the national team? This is a question that you will probably not have to ask me. I am planning on making a good game. We all want to make it to the next round. And this is a given, of course. I think that the Mexican team, in my case, I have to analyze their team. I like their style, their players, their variable factor. I think their players have a very good performance. I like their coach's game plan. Everyone will make their decisions, but at the end of the day, I think this is a team that I like to see playing. I wish the best to their head coach because he's making a great job. He's doing a great job. But of course, I have to focus on myself and my team tomorrow. We've been preparing for this game so we can move forward in the tournament. And then I don't want to focus on things that I can't control because it's just a waste of time and energy. Have you discussed the fact that you can change history with the rest of the players if you beat the CONCACAF giant? Well, our hopes are high. We know what it means to make history for Ecuador, but we take it day after day. No pressure. We are a young team. We are all living a different experience, something important as players. So we don't see beyond tomorrow, but we are focused on what's coming every day. The press conference is over. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.